Welcome to the Transform Sales Podcast, where forward-thinking business leaders come to share their experiences and ideas, learn from each other, and amplify their results together.
Hey guys, what's up? Amir Reiter here. Another episode of the Transform Sales Podcast, our sales agency spotlight series. I might have to change that name to the service provider spotlight series because I realized that agency is now an offensive name culturally. I don't know how that happened, but it did. But we got our guest today, Amit Raj, the founder and the founder of the Link Guys. Amit, what's up, man? How are you?
Yeah, doing good. Thanks for having me in the podcast.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. I just had to zoom in a little bit to match you. I want to zoom in just so I can match you. You look too good, right? I'm gonna zoom myself in so I can look just like Amit. There we go. Let's see if I look like you. I probably look like you now. I kind of look like you. I'm better, closer, right? Awesome.
Similar name as well.
Yeah, Amit and Amir. I've known Amit for maybe a year and a half. He's probably one of the kindest, well-spoken, persistent, and just professional person. But he's going to talk to you about his agency. Maybe you could tell everybody quickly how you got into the business of helping people with the business challenge of ranking high in SEO, driving the right buyers, right? Ultimately, for anybody listening that you might not know what backlinks are, but they're just really high quality SEO connections, now LLM connections too. But he could talk to you about that. How did you found the company? What's your story?
Yeah, so going back to when I originally got into SEO was in 2015. So we're talking 10 years back. That's when I first got into it, and specifically from SEO, I got into link building. And it was at that point I realized it was a very specific part of SEO, which a lot of companies struggled with. There was a lot of bad advice out there. There was, for instance, people tried to do it in-house. They're being burned by bad agencies or bad freelancers. And I kind of realized there's a gap in the market there. So I got into link building from there, and things took off, I would say, really after COVID.
Yeah, I'm like, that makes sense. So people knew that backlinks were important, but they were ultimately hiring fly-by-night agencies that did bad quality, right? And that created opportunity. So today, guys, as you guys know, what we like to do, we like to talk about the listings, right? So I want to specifically focus on this listing that you have in our marketplace, right? Where we talk about how your service can boost SEO ROI by 4,000%, generate 100 million organic revenue, and build 9,000 high-quality links. Let's specifically talk about this, if you don't mind. And maybe you could chat to me, first, so you mentioned this, right? And maybe you could highlight the alternatives that customers reported to agency. What was that? That was, I think you kind of mentioned that. There was it's almost as if what they were doing as an alternative was the driver for you to build the company, if I hear you correctly.
Yeah. And we've seen a few different alternatives. I mean, the biggest thing, we've all seen them, the big link building marketplaces. This is one of the first thing that companies lean into because it's an easy, send money to this big company, they'll get all your links, and it's like a shopping cart system, basically. And I know maybe years ago those marketplaces worked. What's happening now? We've seen the amount of updates that Google is rolling out, and bad quality links don't work in the not even long term. I would say medium term, and I would say that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen. As well as trying to do link building in-house is definitely possible. I've seen companies do it, but it is very difficult and requires a lot of investment. And we've had to invest so much in link building, training.
So there's almost two questions in one, right? The alternative was that they were either doing it in-house or working with marketplaces that typically that worked maybe in the past, right? And now these alternatives just that they're either in-house, they're not doing it themselves, and they're losing to the competition who are investing in good links, or they could be working with marketplaces that maybe worked 5 years ago, but now the links are actually negative and hurting them.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's definitely what I've seen as the companies that do really well with SEO and link building, they do tend to think more. Now, we all know this thing of SEO. It's the old, we've seen the stereotype. It depends. That's all everybody says in SEO. But what I've noticed is that the companies that invest in the medium to long term, and they do consistent link building over time, good quality link building, they tend to always be top of the rankings for all the main keywords. And
so let's get into that, right? I think this is
Yeah.
part of the key feature of your service that helps people overcome the challenge, right? So maybe you could reiterate that. So like where you guys kind of come in, and correct me if I'm wrong, is just by actually doing heavy research involved to finding, who you should link to, right? Like the persons that are willing to link the fastest are not the best. And it might be the person that needs to be, almost cold called or chased down. And that link is much higher quality than one that someone just says yes, right? So people can kind of like fall into this trap of like the people that are out there easy to kind of get links from are typically not the best. Is that the true case? Because I get those emails all the time.
Yeah, you do get a lot of emails, and I think there's a lot of different tactics people use. The biggest thing is just paying for links from Marketplace. Is probably the extreme end. That's probably the lowest quality type you can get, where you just buy anything. And I would say it's primarily things like you need a team or an agency that's looking at the metrics and the quality of links. They need to be getting links in relevant websites. That's like the next level. And as you said, some of these links are just difficult to get. You need to jump through hoops. You might have to jump on a call. You have to write really good content to get in the website to get the link. And that's difficult. And that's why you need an agency that has this very specific, very research-driven, data-driven approach to link building. Yeah. And most link building agencies honestly won't provide that because it's just too difficult. Requires manpower, basically,
Yeah, so basically, like a key feature of your marketplace, of your service, would be the fact that you're building relationships with high value content media companies that are already in good ranking, good standing, and you guys are almost adding like an SDR layer to research, find, and negotiate an opportunity to be on these links, which takes more time and it's harder, but the quality is much higher. Right. So you guys are basically, it's like instead of an investor just getting an investment from somebody who emails them, it's like going out to find like who is your really strategic investor. Right. So it's more of a quality approach in the fact that you're not necessarily getting links to people that just want to spam links. You're getting links to people where like they need to see that the person linking is value. It's value for them. It's value for both ways. So it's kind of more of a high quality approach, which is obviously why you're a top producing, boutique in link building. Talk to me about like a deliverable side, right? Like what kind of tasks, deliverables, and our people are involved in setting up the service, and how long does it take to reach full productivity, right? Like, do I have to add team members? Do I have to give you a lot of information? Do I just sign the agreement and wait for you to just do your thing? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we've made it as easy for clients as possible. So it's pretty much a done for you service. So we'll, as soon as we sign the contract to a client, we'll do maybe a few onboarding questionnaires, like 2 questionnaires to really understand your audience, your target audience, and what kind of clients or customers you're trying to get. And from there, we'll do all the research. We'll figure out where we should be getting links from. We'll even determine, what pages should we be linking to for maximum ROI. Some of these things you just won't get with a link building marketplace. So it's these very ROI focused, kind of more medium to long term SEO plays. Like we'll help with those projections to really figure out, like, you don't want to just rank and get traffic. We need this to turn into revenue. So we'll kind of help you. We'll be more of a strategic partner in that sense. So we'll help with the link building, but at the same time, we want that to have impact on your bottom line as well. So
makes sense to me. Do you typically work with companies that have marketing teams and a CMO, or are you typically working with the CEO? Like, what's like the typical, the best fit client? Like, how does that look from an organization standpoint?
Yeah, I think from generally speaking, I would say it depends on the size of the company, but generally speaking, we mainly deal with the US, while, as you can tell from the accent, I'm from the UK, but we mainly deal with the US. And I know it's one of those accents that stands out. And we've dealt with a range of industries. So obviously, I think a lot of people watching this are in SaaS, but we've dealt with people from different industries. So any niche SaaS, healthcare SaaS, finance, anything like that, we can probably add very good, good learned experience from our previous projects that we can bring into that in terms of link building. So generally, we're talking, $1 million annual revenue plus, just purely because of size. Generally speaking, our clients they're probably already publishing content and doing some SEO, but good link building is going to take it to the next level. So that's kind of where we come in.
Makes sense to me. Talk to me about the KPIs your customers are measuring your service on, right? Like is it they're looking to see are they actually just looking to see what our traffic is from backlinks, right? Are they looking to see revenue? Like how they typically measure success on average?
I would say with link building, again, kind of, I'd never like to I don't use the term long term too much because, again, it makes it seem like, it's going to happen. It's somewhere in the ether. But I would say a medium term kind of focus in terms of organic traffic, should go up as soon as you start investing in link building. Within, I would say, a 3-month period, 3 to 4 months, provided you're still producing content. The website has to be technically sound, all these kind of things. And I think other than that, links from the actual links can happen. It just depends on the type of links. So you'll kind of have a bit of a mixture. But I would say overall traffic, overall organic revenue, because really revenue over time should also be going. If you're getting the right kind of links, it's getting traffic to the right pages, it should turn into revenue. And if not, we will also advise on that end. If we think, that content, you need to be publishing more content, or if it needs to be aimed at the right audience, we'll also help in that in terms of, high level advice there, or there's partners we can bring in for certain things. So I would say, organic traffic, organic revenue, perhaps your authority, overall authority over time
branding,
should also
right?
go.
In a way, if you think about it, right, there's a few business challenges backlinking solves for. It could solve for not enough traffic, not enough of the right traffic, not enough revenue, need more leads, right? Or not enough branding, right? So it's kind of like a drug that kind of serves probably a few of those different hits, if that makes sense, right? Because companies might, have everything rocking and rolling, but like they feel like their branding is not enough, and backlinks for them get that additional exposure, right? So it's interesting because there's obviously a lot of applications for branding when it comes to GTM and go to market. But I can see how, there's a few different KPIs that they would measure. They can measure on search results or getting traffic, right? Revenue, and also just brand recognition, right? At the same time, people might not be clicking these links, but they can say, hey, I saw the brand, right? And that gave me the comfort to go back to them and buy them, right? Because a lot of these companies have people in the pipeline not making decisions. They could see these backlinks and get it. Man, these guys are everywhere. I see them here. I see them there. I got to give them a shot, right?
Exactly. So it helps with your overall brand building,
right? It's a backlink to you, right? In a way, right? And people might be have seen you and talked to you, and they might see this podcast or a backlink, and that might give them the confidence this time to buy, right? So it's also like almost like another channel, right? It's like the third party, it's not necessarily the third party, like, case study or like review. It's more of just like a third party content syndication, right? In a way, right?
Exactly.
Falls into that. Yeah.
And in a way, doing, link building brand as a form of brand building, basically, you can, an offshoot of that is, as we know, Google's algorithm is changing. We're now thinking about how do we get our brand to appear in LLMs or AI tools or AI overviews. I see link building as, really is going to be not the only thing, but one very key part of appearing in these AI overviews or LLMs. And in a way, the more you build up your authority, you get your content ranking higher in search engines, more visibility. If you do a bit of digital PR, you're getting a bit of, PR coverage, all these kind of things. Is going to help with that. It's going to get your brand in the right places, more visibility. People will see, as you said, they'll see you in different places. And I think link building is one of those things that won't go away anytime soon. I think content is still important, but link building, it's like you need some other signal other than content to get more visibility. So it's
I agree, man.
So,
I agree.
yeah.
We're doing a lot of content and SEO pushing here and a lot of backlinking. So it's always great to pick your brain, and it's always better to help the right people find you. So I appreciate you taking the time. So for everybody, obviously in the post, in the link, and all the content, you could find their listing in our marketplace. But if you want to follow and learn more from Amit, where's the best place for them to connect with you? Is LinkedIn?
Yeah, you can get me on LinkedIn or on the linksky.com. We've got a blog where we're always publishing new content, so you can check us out there as well.
When do I get my backlink from you? We'll talk about that after.
Yeah, we'll get I've got a good place, actually.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in to the Transform Sales Podcast, the service provider spotlight series. I went ahead and changed the name. We don't want to be offensive with agency. So thank you for tuning in. And if you guys want to connect with Amit, he's easily available. And look forward to the next time we highlight another wonderful service owner. Let you go, man. Take care.
Yeah, thanks.